美国制造了非典和新冠病毒，是专门针对中国的生物武器。这是5月3日，欧洲议会布鲁塞尔国际新冠峰会上，来自美国的戴维马丁博士做出的核弹级发言。接下来他的发言，每一个有良知的中国人都应该一字一句好好看完，并广而告之。
But then we had an interesting development in 2002, and this date is most important. Because in 2002, the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill patented, and I quote, an infectious replication defective clone of coronavirus. Let me unpack it for you. Infectious replication defective means a weapon. And that patent was filed in 2002, mysteriously preceded SARS 1.0 by a year. Dave, are you suggesting that SARS 1.0 wasn't from a wet market in Wuhan? Are you suggesting it might have come from a laboratory in the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill? No, I'm not suggesting it. I'm telling you that's the facts. We engineered SARS. SARS is not a naturally occurring phenomenon to actually attack human beings, and they patented it in 2002. But let's get something very clear. When the CDC in April of 2003 filed the patent on SARS coronavirus isolated from humans, what did they do? They downloaded a sequence from China and filed a patent on it in the United States. Any of you familiar with biological and chemical weapons treaties knows that's a violation. That's a crime. That's not an innocent oops. That's a crime. And the United States Patent Office went as far as to reject that patent application on 2 occasions until the CDC decided to bribe the Patent Office to override the patent examiner to ultimately issue the patent in 2007 on SARS coronavirus. In 2005, this particular pathogen was specifically labeled as a bioterrorism and bioweapon platform technology. Described as such, that's not my terminology that I'm applying to. It was actually a biowarfare enabling agent, its official classification from 2005 forward. I don't know if that sounds like public health to you, and that feels like a weapon designed to take out humanity. That's what it feels like, and it feels like that because that's exactly what it is. Did you hear what I just said? A biological weapons lab facility at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, received an exemption from the gain-of-function moratorium so that by 2016, we could publish the journal article that said, SARS coronavirus is poised for human emergence in 2016. And what, you might ask, Dave, was the coronavirus poised for human emergence? It was WIV1. Wuhan Institute of Virology Virus 1. Poised for human emergence in 2016 at the proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. Does that sound like leak? Does that sound like a bat and a pangolin went into a bar in the Wuhan market and hung out and had sex, and lo and behold, we got SARS-CoV-2? No. Accidental or intentional release of a respiratory pathogen was the terminology used, and 4 times in April of 2019, 7 months before the allegation of patient number 1, 4 patent applications of Moderna were modified to include the term accidental or intentional release of a respiratory pathogen as the justification for making a vaccine for a thing that did not exist. Let's read this because we have to read this into the record everywhere I go. Until an infectious disease crisis is very real, present, and at the emergency threshold that is often largely ignored. To sustain the funding base beyond the crisis, he said, we need to increase the public understanding for the need for medical countermeasures such as a pan-influenza or pan-coronavirus vaccine. A key driver is the media, and the economics will follow the hype. We need to use that hype to our advantage to get to the real issues. Investors will respond if they see profit at the end of the process. Sounds like public health? Sounds like the best of humanity? No, ladies and gentlemen, this was premeditated domestic terrorism stated at the proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences in 2015, published in front of them. This is an act of biological and chemical warfare perpetrated on the human race, and it was admitted to in writing that this was a financial heist and a financial fraud. Investors will follow if they see profit at the end of the process. Nature was hijacked. This whole story started in 1965 when we decided to hijack a natural model and decide to start manipulating it. Science was hijacked, so morality was suspended for medical countermeasures. And ultimately, humanity was lost because we decided to allow it to happen.
这次会议是一个顶级国际峰会，欧洲30多个国家的议员、相关专家、媒体记者都在现场听到了马丁博士的演讲。发言已经过去了近1个月，我本以为这样的核弹级言论必然在欧美引起轩然大波，但我搜遍欧美网络，发现一切安静的可怕。谷歌搜索出来的相关链接不到10个，都是一些个人博主的文章，连搜索页第1页都排不满。油管仅有2段会议官方发布的视频，一段3个多小时，一段4个多小时，播放量少得可怜。而平时嗓门响亮的 CNN、BBC、Fox、路透法新全都集体装聋作哑加失明，没有一家报道这次发言。是的，一家都没有。如果马丁博士是在阴谋论，他们大可群起反驳，找专家怼回去。但是他们选择长达1个月的集体沉默，进行全网冷处理。这就是全球话语权的现状。抹黑中国的言论立刻全网转发带节奏，不利西方的言论手动人间蒸发。非典和新冠害惨了中国人，还让特别是广东人和武汉人背上骂名。马丁博士的发言给了满世界宣传新冠源自中国的美国人，还有某些让我们向全世界道歉的中国贵族一记大大的响亮耳光。马丁博士发言的内容，相信我国相关部门早就一清二楚。在新冠刚刚爆发的时候，中国就非常警惕，而美国恰恰相反。我记得特朗普在病毒爆发初期特别指出，这是针对亚洲人的，所以美国人会很安全。只不过恶人自有天收，变异后的病毒反而让美国的感染和死亡人数世界最高。美国在全球30个国家建立了336个生物实验室，早就掌控全球各族群的基因样本，还被曝光在乌克兰进行了大量病毒传播实验。我们很难不怀疑他们对中国早已下过黑手。按照马丁博士的发言，每一个中国人应该明白，过去3年国家为了保护我们，做出了多大的努力，付出了多大的代价，承受了多大的压力。这和抗日战争又有什么区别？他国谋划数十年全力入侵，中华举全国之力抗敌3年，而且越战越强。美国在越南丢化学武器，用洗衣粉坑死伊拉克，跑叙利亚偷石油，对中国多次投毒，全世界搞颜色革命，输出动乱，美元霸权反复收割全世界，240多年历史，仅16年没打仗，居然还被很多人吹嘘成人类之光、文明灯塔。我看就是一个臭不要脸的人类肿瘤。人类文明史上众多的大帝国，最后都是灰飞烟灭。仅仅称霸世界不到100年的美国，又有什么能耐，居然妄想霸权千秋万代？对于中国的发展往死里打压。中国人经历过5000年的风风雨雨，见过大世面，拥有大智慧，中华文明之光从未熄灭，也必将再次迎来复兴。吾辈还需继续努力啊！马丁博士的完整发言有21分钟，详尽揭露了近100年时间西方研发冠状病毒生物武器的详细过程。现在展示的是演讲时的幻灯片，发言文字版我会发在评论区。如果这段视频点赞超过1000，我就费力气把视频做一下，毕竟太多专业名词，翻起来太费力。